So someone asked the question about why there's so many Bible versions, and didn't ask for any advice to use, but I will give that. But I'll give you a little bit of history as why we have so many and where this has all come from and where everything has originated from. So the scriptures were written in Koine Greek, which is a dead Greek language. So it means it can't change. It will never change again. And there are two rival Greek texts from which all scripture has been, all the Bible versions today have been translated from. There is the Textus Receptus and Westcott and Hort. So first of all, the Textus Receptus does not have a complete version for which it is translated from. It has a lot of different fragments that have come down through the ages, and there are complete books of the New Testament that are in the Textus Receptus, but there aren't really complete manuscripts. But through the 2,000 years of Christianity, the texts have been what has been agreed on. That's why it's called the Textus Receptus, which means received text. That is where the King James Bible was translated from in and around 1611. In the late 1800s, two Greek texts were found that were complete copies of the New Testament. There was Codex Sinaiticus, which was found in the Sinai, and there was Codex Vaticanus, which was found in the Vatican. These are complete texts, and they agree mostly with the Textus Receptus with some non-consequential differences. These two texts make up the Greek text, Westcott and Hort, which is what all the other Bibles are translated from. Up until finding these Greek texts, from an English standpoint, the King James Bible was the standard. It was what was used in most every church. Now, the King James has undergone, I believe, 5 revisions for spelling. Keep in mind, up until Noah Webster posted or published his first dictionary, there was not a standard way of spelling words. People just spelled how they wanted to. From the mid-20th century on, we've had a plethora of translations, basically for 3 reasons. Number one, because we don't talk like the King James was written. We don't use the same verb endings. We don't use the second person singular, and there are just a lot of words in the King James that we just don't use anymore, and no one has any idea what they mean. Give you one example. Daniel 7 talks about Daniel keeping his cogitations to himself. Don't know if that's a communicable disease or not. So reason number one is they wanted something that's more understandable. Reason number two, people want to make money. There's money to be made in Bible translation and publishing Bibles. And number three is arrogance. People, my version's right. And so that's why you have all the different versions and translations today. From a personal standpoint, I don't teach from or use a King James on a regular basis, though I will refer to it. I have a kid in my middle school class that will read from a King James, because we all read the Bible as we go through our class. Everybody takes a turn reading. But when this kid reads, I have to translate what he said. There are 4 or 5 versions that I will read from. Mostly I read the CSB. That's because that's what our church uses. But I like the ESV and I like the NIV. You did ask about authenticity. I'll give this as short as I can. And basically, the early church would copy scriptures and send them all over the world. So if anything had been changed since the original writings by the men who wrote the Bible, then somebody would raise their hand and say, well, this isn't what we all have, because there were just tons of manuscripts going all over the place. And the other thing is, early church fathers quoted scripture, and so that is in line with what we currently have. And the two versions, Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Vaticanus, were found somewhere around 325 AD. So those those date back. They predate a lot of the Greek texts that we have, and they show that what we have and have used all the time is authentic. There are some non-consequential differences, but again, I know the King James only people will kill me, but that's fine. I'm a big guy, I can take it. But the differences are really non-consequential. Bit of a long explanation. Hope that helps. Let me know what you think.